Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, April 9th, and it is time for Lunch with Lori, and we are having our weekly online class. So thank you for joining me. I have had quite a week at my house. We've had lots of excitement, none of which is, my stamping world. It's all like our personal life. If you were watching my video last Tuesday afternoon when I did my replay, because my first video was not, didn't work properly because my headphones were plugged in, so that was a faux pas on my part. But if you were watching my second video, you saw or heard me say that our oldest son had texted that he was having a really bad day. We figured out that it wasn't a car accident, wasn't anything harmful, everything was okay, but the apartment complex where he lives in Phoenix, they were working on the bathtub in the apartment above him, and they had some mold in the drywall, and so they had to cut into the drywall in the apartment above him. And when they cut into the drywall, they cut the sprinkler line, so Ian's apartment was flooded. And he sent us a video, which I couldn't see on my watch at the time during our video last week. Sent us a video of the water gushing out the front door of his apartment. So he's been in a hotel since last week, but apparently things are on the mend and he should be back in there hopefully today. Then Sunday afternoon, if you've been to my house, you know that I live on a pretty busy street, and on the weekends it's not busy because we have a lot of hospital traffic. And a truck actually coming the wrong direction, not the wrong direction, but going southbound when my side of the street is northbound, crossed over onto my side, hit the telephone pole next to my driveway, and then bounced up on the curb and the little hill on the front of our yard, which is pretty substantial, and rolled over my mailbox. My mailbox is laying on the ground. It's a sad little situation, but he hit it so hard that the concrete support in the bottom was pulled out, and everyone was okay, but it was a little dramatic for a little bit. So anyway, it's time to calm down and get back to reality. This morning, the prices for the last chance lists were released previously, and some of the items starting today are on sale. I'm going to show you some of my favorite items that are retiring, some of my favorite stamp sets and bundles. And then one item that I messed up and it's already gone. So you'll have to pretend that you love it. And if you're interested 100% in it, then I will have it in my buy one, get one sale this summer. So I'm going to start with that one because that's the easiest one. Last week we used Tahitian Tide. And I'm going to use Tahitian Tide again, but I'm going to use, along with it, Starry Sky, which are two of the retiring in colors that are going away. And I already had this sample, so that's why I just left it those colors. And I forgot to get white scrap paper. That's a problem. All right, sorry about that. We for this piece in the middle, when we did this class, it was I used the Cheery Patterns embossing folder, and it has since gone away. And so I was like, oh, the Stripes and Splatters embossing folder is on the retiring list. So I ran that through so that it would look like splatters of the icing. Unfortunately, the Stripes and Splatters embossing folder duo, the two folders, they come in a pack of two, they're gone. They were on sale, half off, and they are already gone. So I apologize, but if you do the class today, I will send you those pieces. And then I realized I also forgot my circle punch. I thought I was doing so well, and I'm struggling this morning. Luckily, my table here is in a spot that's very close to all of my stuff. So we're going to use the Stripes and Splatters embossing folder, but this is what the Cheery Patterns looked like. Just in case you have that, you could use that as well for your own card. So we have our card. Go ahead and fold that in half. then our stripes and splatters piece, we can go ahead and attach that right in the middle. I thought my drama was over, but now it's, you know, the things that are packed away that I forgot that I needed for my class this morning. All right, so the stripes and splatters, we're just going to center that right in the middle, up against the edge. And if you happen to have it so it goes over the edge, just flip it over and trim it just a little bit, but I think we're okay. So I've got my embossed piece. I'm actually, when I put that on, I think I'm going to use dimensionals, so we might as well go ahead and do that as well and get everything ready for the stamped part. Oh, I almost forgot the biggest excitement of the week yesterday was the big eclipse. If you're watching and you were in totality, how long was your period of time? We were just on the edge of totality, and it was definitely different than the eclipse of 2017. Definitely different. So if you're watching and you were in that path, let me know how long were your lights out yesterday? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the center, and then we'll set that aside. Okay. Or if you even got to see the eclipse, was where you lived, did the eclipse even come to your house? Did it? In 2017, my husband and one of our kids and our now daughter-in-law climbed on our roof. We were up on our roof with our glasses, and we watched. Unfortunately, my husband and I did not get glasses this time, and he could not find the glasses that we had 7 years ago now. Wow. He couldn't find those. So we made our own little, we didn't use the box. We did 2 pieces of white cardstock. I'm like, oh, I have that. That was the instructions. And we pinned a hole in the aluminum foil, and it worked perfectly, so we were able to see. All right, the one thing I didn't tell you, I'm using the stripes and splatters, the circle sayings. The circle sayings stamp set is retiring, and it is a great versatile stamp set. The punch is the 2 3/8 inch punch. It is not retiring. It's going to stick around for a lot longer. So I'm using that because it coordinates with the circle sayings, but this is the stamp set that I'm using. I'm going to use Tahitian Tide ink, and we're just going to do the Celebrate circle, the words. Then I'm going to stamp the cupcake, also from the circle sayings, in Starry Sky ink, and it's going to go right in the middle. This was one of my favorites. I did love this one. I'm just get this a little closer so I can see it. And really, there's no right or wrong direction because the words go in a circle and they're the same words. So if you get it a little, if you think it's not centered or straight, it's okay because it's perfect, no matter which way you go. On my original one, I didn't color it, but I'm going to give my cupcake liner a little bit of color, and I'm just going to color, I'm going to make it look a little bit tie-dyed. Actually, I think I want to use not the brush tip, the other end. We're just going to kind of color a little bit in various spots, and it's going to look a little weird, but right now we're going to color it. Sort of random. Then I'm going to come back in on my Tahitian Tide, and I'm going to color in the other spots so it looks like it is. We can add more Tahitian Tide or more Starry Sky. You can do that with any color. It's great if you have 3 colors. 3 colors is probably the ideal tie-dye situation, but we're only using 2 colors on this card today, so we're just going to use the 2 colors. And there we have our sort of tie-dyed colored cupcake liner. Then we will take our 2 3/8 inch circle punch. And color that as well. Color that. Oh my goodness, we will punch that out. We will not color it. And then also retiring is the metallic woven ribbon. There's each color of the in colors all have their own color. I'm gonna cut 3 little lengths of ribbon, and I'm just gonna put those together, kind of just as a little bunch. I'm gonna flip this over. Actually, I want to know for sure where I'm gonna put it, so I'm gonna put a little bit of adhesive right there to stick it, so that I can play with that and figure out where I want those exactly. And then, you know me, safety first, we're gonna use some Scotch tape, put right across the back of that so that it'll stay in place. And then if you want to kind of frazzle your ends a little bit and make it a little bit not so perfect, you can do that. And then we're going to use dimensionals on the back of this as well to pop it up off of those patterns on the embossed piece. So the circle sayings were my favorites. The stripes and splatters embossing folders, if you have those already, you are in luck. And then there you have it. A nice little birthday card. Could be for a man, a woman, a kid. It's perfect for anybody. Okay, card number 2 is also a birthday card today. And part of it is already stamped for us because this is a leftover from a class I did recently in person. And if you've been around, you know that I don't trust my customers so many times, and I've learned that lesson the hard way. And I don't put more than one ink color on, unless it's a special situation. We don't use more than one color ink for various things. So for this card, it's going to be a birthday card, and we're using the Beautiful Balloons bundle. The balloons, the streamers, the confetti. It's a great celebration birthday set, and it also has matching dies that match. And I have cut out already. I've cut out a big balloon, and in Coastal Cabana, a daffodil balloon, and a real red balloon. So those are already cut for us, and I've already stamped 2 of the banners, and that's because, like I said, I don't want craziness to happen. And so if I had all 3 colors for everybody to put their banners in, we'd be in trouble. So, all right. So we're gonna stamp the banner, and I'm only gonna stamp 1 more. We had 3 banners. I'm gonna stamp 3 total. I've already stamped 2, so that you didn't have to watch me struggle with that. And it doesn't really matter. There's no rhyme or reason. We're just gonna stamp that. All right. So we have that part stamped. I'm gonna set my banner aside, and let's add some confetti. So we're gonna do our confetti in Coastal Cabana. On the other side of my table here. And we're just gonna randomly put some confetti, because who doesn't like confetti? I'm just going to add that in there. And you don't have to do too much, because the balloons are gonna cover part of it. Okay, the other thing I'm gonna do while I've got my Coastal Cabana ink pad out here, and normally I stamp things before I die cut, but since this is a pretty easy one, I just add a little bit of fun to our balloon here. A little bit of texture. It's kind of stars and almost looks like confetti on the balloon. And then we're going to decide where we're going to put our balloons. And I'm going to Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and stamp my words so then I really know where I'm gonna put my balloons. All right, I think it's time for a celebration. Okay, now we're gonna decide where we're gonna put our balloons. And I'm just gonna lay those on here. I'm gonna put this one flat, and then the other two I'm going to pop up. But I need to decide where I'm gonna put those because I'm going to stamp the balloon tail, the string for the balloon. And if you are a fan of our blocks, the A block, the teeny tiny square, is retired, and it actually has already gone away. It is one of my favorite sizes, and I'm so glad I have some extra ones. But the G block, which is this one, is also retiring, and it's perfect for small things. So if you don't have any small blocks, I highly recommend getting some G blocks so that you can use even this small stamp right here would fit on there. It just gives you a little bit more control instead of putting it on a big block. If I put this little thing on this block, it would get rocked and it'd be just a mess. And I don't need any more messes in my life than I currently have. So I think this is gonna go about here. So I'm gonna stamp my string there. And then, and really it doesn't fully matter. And then let's go this way. All right, so we have our 3 balloon tails. That one flat, and then dimensional the other 2. Coastal Cabana Real Red and Daffodil Delight is one of my favorite color combinations. It's a nice bright color combination, and it works for any kind of card. Probably not a sympathy card, but it works for just about anything. You can find flowers that are red and yellow. You can do balloons. You can do pretty much anything. All right, so we have that. We'll go ahead and put this on a real red mat. Didn't fold my card first. It's kind of unusual for me. And I did the real red so that it would stand out. And then Coastal Cabana card base, just 8.5 by 5.5, cut in half. And then let's do this one flat today. This bundle came out last year, and I actually have more samples in a box somewhere. This was one of my retreat bundles that we used as one of our. And the Real Red and the Coastal Cabana was not one of the colors that are on the designer series paper that match. So it was kind of an unusual thing. Now the other thing I want to do is I want to stamp on the inside, and I want to say happy birthday. I do, yes. And I'm going to stamp that in red. I have my Real Red ink right here. Put that right in the center. Hopefully I'm straight because I am. I think we're good. And then I do think that we need some more confetti on the inside. So let's get our Coastal Cabana back and confetti it right up. I can't believe that it is already April 9th and that April is flying by. In 3 weeks, I won't be here. We are going on the Stampin' Up! Incentive trip to Mexico, and I'm super excited about that. We've been planning our excursions with our friends from Canada, actually, that we met on last year's trip. So we are super excited about that. My husband's excited, and I can't wait to share pictures and tell you all about it. There's work to do before then, so there's things to do. and more craziness that's happening, I'm sure. Put this on the inside. And that white piece is the same size as the white piece on the front. If you don't like that larger border around the inside, you could always do a real red panel on the inside too. I just didn't because I feel like it's kind of thick that way. And there's card number 2. Time for a celebration. Okay, our last bundle is the Sending Smiles bundle, and it's also one of my favorites, and it's very versatile. The stamp set comes with sending, which is a big word, and then sending smiles across the miles, sending a note of thanks, sending a card to say hello, sending comfort and strength. So with my color scheme today, I'm going to use the sending comfort and strength, but I did want to show you 2 other. I did one with Sweet Sorbet and Daffodil, and I believe this is Parakeet Party or Lemon Lime Twist. I can't remember. Actually, I think it's Parakeet Party because that's one of the in colors. And then also Starry Sky. So as a bright, sending birthday wishes. And then I also did a paler yellow with, oh goodness, I think this is Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape, a card to say hello. So it can be any color scheme that you want. The dies are awesome as well. I'll show you that really quick. We're not using the dies today, but it will cut out the word sending. So you could have the sending in fine print. And it also, if you'd like to double layer it, has the bubble to go around it. So you could do this part in white and that in a color, or this part in a color and that in white so that it stands out on your card. It is actually an awesome, versatile, I'm all about versatile type bundles that I can use for multiple occasions, because that's the easiest thing I find. The other thing that is retiring, not on this particular card necessarily, but one of the things that goes with this card is vanilla, very vanilla envelopes. And I cannot even believe that they are getting rid of very vanilla envelopes, but here we are, and this is how our world is going. The thick vanilla cardstock is already gone, so there won't be any more thick vanilla card bases. You could go back and use regular vanilla, which is not as strong. It's just not as strong. So we're going to have to use vanilla as just the panel instead of as the card base. So just so you know, the vanilla envelopes are still available. The vanilla note cards are also going away. So if you're a fan of those, make sure you get those before they're gone. They didn't ask me. No one from Stampin' Up! Called me and asked me what I thought about vanilla. So it is not my fault that it's gone, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we have our crumb cake card base. And then I'm gonna go ahead and stamp everything. Let's get some stems. I have 2 different stems that I'm going to use, and I'm gonna do that in garden green. So I have, oh my goodness, my stamp is not completely stuck to my block. I've never had that happen before, so let's hope that it stamps properly. And there's something on. If you get something on your stamp, and you can see it here, I didn't catch it, it left a mark right here on this leaf. Looks like a little green booger. There we go, see? So let's take that off, and we will flip our card over, but actually, I probably wasn't I wasn't thinking very much there. I have used this stamp set so much that the stamps are not sticking properly. My little flower center just flew across the room and it did not stick on the block very well. So, all right. See, here we are with chaos. Chaos and craziness. Maybe that's what I should call my online class every week. Chaos and craziness. But you will notice that there is not one bow on any of my projects today. I didn't need that stress on top of everything else that's going on here this week. So back to the mailbox. we will be getting a new mailbox. All right, and I didn't ink my ink pad, so we're just gonna pretend that everything is all good, and we're gonna go ahead. Yes, we are. Or wait, let's try this again. All right, so the lessons we're learning today is make sure your ink pads are juiced up. I didn't realize this one was so low. Yeah. Okay, so, yep, we're gonna go on with it because I'm not gonna make you wait. And we're gonna do comfort and strength right underneath. Yes, this ink pad needs some liquid. Okay, now that I've cleaned off my stamp, let's go ahead and re-ink it. Try again. This way, if I stamp the words first, then I know where my flowers can go. And then I'm going to use my second smaller leaf to fill in. We're going to stamp our flowers in crushed curry. Crushed curry is a little bit darker than the daffodil I just used, but it's perfect with the espresso and the garden green. And you can do your flowers whatever size you want, and it might be an issue of whichever one fits in your space. Let's do small. So what happens when I don't stamp it exactly like my sample, it doesn't fit as well. I don't want to go all the way over my words there. I'm going to go part way. I think it's okay. We'll just stamp our flowers, and then you'll notice that the small flower and the large flower actually have two different size centers. And so the centers there's two sizes for the centers. There's a teeny tiny one, which is the one that flew away, and then the larger one. And the larger one, of course, goes on the larger flower. Has just a little bit of texture. I don't know if you can see the little dots in that are make it look a little bit like a sunflower. And then our tiny one. Wish me luck that it stays attached to my block. This was a well-received stamp set when it first came out. Everybody loved this one. And I still love it. I'm a little sad that it's going away, actually. So now you've seen some of my favorite things. Last week I showed you some of my favorites. I will post the online, the retiring products list. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm not going to glue this on here because I really want to restamp this, but now you've seen it. So I've put it together. I put the, I've got the crumb cake panel, or the card base with an early espresso panel, and then the vanilla. If you wanted to put a ribbon on this one, you could use linen thread. You could use anything that's, probably the linen thread would be the perfect thing. You could use some soft pearls. I wouldn't necessarily think that for this one it would be a rhinestone kind of card. Oh, thank goodness, Cindy. I'm so glad that I didn't screw up like I did last week. Last week, I had my headphones on, and I forgot to turn them off. So the sound for my volume thing last week was full of sounds from my kitchen, which was nothing. So I apologize again for last week's craziness. So anyway, we have the Sending Smiles bundle, which is a great great bundle. We have the Circle Saying stamp set. And like I said, the circle punch that matches that is not going away. And the Beautiful Balloons bundle, which is also retiring. So here are 3 cards today. If you're local, I will be having a, excuse me, retirement class, not me retiring, but all the things from Stampin' Up! That are retiring. And I look for that soon. It's probably going to be in the next week or 2. I do thank everyone for joining me today. It is, I can relax now. It's a little bit less stressful. And we're going to hope for the best that the rest of the week is not as stressful as well. If you place a $35 order on my website, I will send you the card kits for these 3 cards. You can stamp them. You will get the balloons and the circle. You'll just have to stamp it yourself, and I'll do the embossing folder for that. And you'll just have to stamp everything else. So, and if you place a $50 order, you will get a package of bling. And I haven't fully decided which bling. It may be a roll of the ribbon, or it might be actually a roll of linen thread. I haven't gotten that far. So look for a special package in the mail if you place an order on my website between now and Sunday at noon. And keep in mind that things are on sale and they are while supplies last. So those will go away very quickly now that they're on sale. So I will look forward to seeing you all next week. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next week. Thanks.